shown. It's on the network, and yeah, it should be very interesting because obviously the main draw here is the Triple H announcement. That's what we're waiting to find out now. First thing I need to talk about is obviously my voice. I have not really done much talking in the past 48 hours since the NXT stream. I've really rested my voice. Really have been taking a lot of medication. Trying to get a bit of sleep and whatever, and you can see it's sort of coming back. It's still not back. It's amazing. I've had this cold for like a week. It's still not fully back, but we are definitely in a better place than we was on Tuesday. By, I would say, the second part of that NXT stream, I knew my voice had gone. I knew it was done. I knew it was cooked. So really, that was just a case, being brutally honest, of just getting through that stream. So if I wasn't seeming all that enthusiastic, it's because I was in survival mode during the second part of that stream. And it may happen here as well, to be perfectly truthful, because it feels okay right now. It feels quite wobbly, but I think we can get through. So this is only going to be a couple of hours, this stream, and we're gonna get through the stream. We've got an hour before the actual show starts. I thought what would be good would just be to talk about some of the news that's doing the rounds, and then we can move on to the actual show once it starts. Now, the Triple H announcement is the one that everyone's interested in. It is true that Triple H made an announcement earlier today, but I don't think that is the announcement. The reason why I say that is because Triple H actually made this announcement on social media. So I think that they would want to make the announcement on this show. They want you to watch this show. If they were to just give away the announcement on social media, then there's not really any reason for you to tune in to this show. So I'm thinking that that announcement that was made earlier about Money in the Bank going to Toronto, I'm thinking that that is just, you know, an announcement that was made on social media, but it's not the actual announcement. I think there will be another announcement. I could be wrong. It might be they go as what was reported earlier today. Which, honestly, if they do that, if that is what they're going to do, that's going to really suck. It's going to really suck because it's not really that exciting of an announcement. I mean, it's good if you're in Canada. I'm pleased for you. The Money in the Bank's going to be in Toronto, but it doesn't really affect the rest of the world. You know, it doesn't really affect us in the UK or affect people in Texas or Florida or people in Europe or whatever. You know, it's kind of cool for Toronto, but yeah, and that's been put out on social media, so we already know it. So I'm thinking that that's just a bit of news they had that they put out on social media, and I'm thinking that he's going to have something else that's going to be announced on the show. So I did put a little poll up saying what might that announcement be, and it got me wondering about WWE Speed, because we know they recorded like a new show that apparently is going to be like a social media show, and it's going to be quick matches. And I don't know if it's just going to be put on YouTube, but apparently it's going on social media. That's what I read. So WWE Speed is 5-minute matches, and if there's not a winner, then the match is a draw. Apparently, if you win, you get a point. If you lose, I think you lose a point. If it's a draw, no one gets any points. And there's going to be some sort of league table. It sounds really good, actually. It sounds quite interesting. I am really into it. So I don't know if he's going to announce the start of that, maybe. The other thing I wondered was NXT Europe, because we know that that got put on the back burner. But we know it's something that Triple H really believes in. So it wouldn't surprise me if that was a conversation he'd had, saying, I really want us to do this, because he believes in NXT. Of course he does. It's his baby. And he once did a presentation. I'm sure you've seen the slide of it, right? It's Triple H standing on a stage, and in the background there's a map of the world, and then it's got like lots of NXTs all over the globe, and that's the plan. The plan is to open up an NXT in Europe, one in Japan, one in Mexico, one in Asia, one in Australia, and have them all over the globe, producing talent that then can probably feed into the American NXT. I would imagine that the NXT Europe, NXT Asia, whatever, will feed into NXT in America, and then that'll feed into Raw and SmackDown. I suppose in a way very similar to what NXT UK has just done. If you think like Tyler Bates, Pete Dunne, Gunther, they went from NXT UK into NXT. So they didn't stick around too long sometimes. Like Gunther wasn't there all that long, but he did go to NXT and then ended up going to the main roster. So I think there's maybe an outside chance that we're going to get update on the plans for this, maybe a launch date for this. We know that there's clearly talks that have happened between them and All Japan because of Charlie Dempsey being sent over there. And this is quite interesting because when they were talking about NXT Japan, originally they were going to buy All Japan Wrestling. They were going to buy it, and then they were going to use that as the basis for NXT Japan. So we didn't hear anything because of the pandemic, and then of course the sale. But now all of a sudden they've started working with them, and we sent Charlie Dempsey over there. So there's clearly stuff going on behind the scenes that we're not privy to. There's clearly conversations happening that we're not aware of yet, that I think we will become aware of. For the record, I don't think it's going to be this, just because I think that this is a big project, and he could announce it and say that it launches in the summer or something like that. But I don't know. I think there's going to be other things more likely. But if this was to be the announcement, oh my god, that would be so good. I'm already so excited for NXT Europe. NXT UK got axed, it ready for NXT Europe. I actually think the truth is NXT UK got axed because the ratings weren't great. If you think that NXT has just been cut from TNT Sport here in the UK, I've got to think that NXT UK was doing even worse ratings because the level of star power was even lower. So I've got to think that the ratings for that were not good. So NXT Europe, that's on the thing. And then the other one, a name and a venue for another premium live event. So I know he announced one earlier today with Money in the Bank, but if he is going to come out and announce something else, could it be, do we even know where SummerSlam is, for example? Could it be that he's going to come out and give us the SummerSlam date and venue? Could it be that he's going to come out and announce, I don't know, Survivor Series or like one of the Saudi shows or, you know, one of the other shows? Could he come out and announce something really exciting, like on June the 5th, we're going to be doing King of the Ring, or do you know what I mean? Something like that. Something that really makes you go, it doesn't really matter where it's being held. It's just the fact that we're getting a show we haven't had for years. King and Queen of the Ring or something like this, you know? A tournament always comes to my mind. Or maybe a mid-card women's championship. That would be good. If he was to come out and announce a mid-card women's championship, that'd be really good. A lot of people want that. Like a women's intercontinental. A lot of people want that. So, I don't know. I haven't seen any rumors. I can tell you that I've not seen anywhere people saying that the announcement earlier was the announcement. WWE at Wembley, said Mr. Unfamiliar. That would be pretty sick. I don't know that I can see them doing that because they're doing France and they're doing Germany. And I don't know if they feel like Europe has been served this year. So it might be a case that they're looking at it. This is actually going to be, I think, harder than I thought, this stream. I don't know if they're not looking at it and thinking like, we're already doing Germany and France, so let's not do the UK this year. So Wembley would be a big surprise. That would be a big surprise. I feel like that would already need to have been announced, unless they're doing it much later in the year. But you can't really afford to do Wembley too late because of the weather. You've got to do it in the summer, and already there's a big... That would be a tricky one. That would be a tricky one. Devcon said WWE crossover with TNA, All Japan, and CMLL. So they came out and said, didn't they, that apparently that TNA thing's not happening. So just to talk on that, it was brought up on the NXT stream that we did, and my first reaction to it was no, because just changing pay-per-view to premium live event, that doesn't mean anything, right? It doesn't mean anything. That to me is irrelevant, because you might just want to change it because of how you're distributing it. WWE changed it because they used to do pay-per-views, and a pay-per-view is when you actually spend $50 for that show and that show alone. But a premium live event is when you watch a show that's on a subscription service. You know, and so you're spending your $9.99 a month anyway, and you're getting whatever you're getting, be it the back catalogue, be it NXT, be it main event, be it, you know, whatever it might be. But one of the things you'll be getting is the that month's pay-per-view, right? And so that's why they changed it to premium live event, because it's not really a pay-per-view if you're paying that monthly subscription. And I think that really TNA just changed theirs for the same reason, because there's something coming out called TNA Plus, which I don't know much about, to be honest, but that seems like a streaming service, and I would imagine they've made the same move as a result. So when people were saying, like, do you think this is an indicator? No, I don't, right? I said it on the stream. I meant it. I still mean it. But there was enough talk about it on the stream where people were like, what do you think? What do you think, right? That after the stream had ended, I went to the tweets and I read the tweets, and I saw a poster in the replies, and it was actually the poster that kind of convinced me there was something a bit more to this, because I don't follow TNA, and so I don't know what communication they're putting out. But there's a poster that says, you won't believe who's going to show up. And it also said about worlds colliding, which is obviously very interesting, because NXT and NXT UK used to do a show called Worlds Collide, where them two collided, right? I mean, I feel like TNA are definitely, or have definitely, planted a few seeds to make people think there could be an agreement, because using language like Worlds Collide is very interesting, because that is a pay-per-view that used to be NXT UK taking on NXT stars. So if you're going to say worlds will collide, you won't believe who's showing up, that does very much indicate that there could be something to like TNA and NXT, right? No way did... I had people saying, could you imagine whoever, Alexander, taking on Roman Reigns? No, not happening, right? Forget that. We're talking about TNA going up against NXT, because TNA's ratings are well below NXT, right? So they ain't going up against Raw and SmackDown stars. If they're going to do anything, they'd be going up against NXT stars. So it would be the Josh Alexander against Bron Breakker, right? Or Charlie Dempsey, right? It'd be like those kinds of matches, which would still bang, right? I've got no problem with them. You know, I'd be definitely excited for that event, because Impact, TNA have got some good names. You know, I've heard about this Speedball Mike Bailey, right? I've heard about, obviously, Josh Alexander. I know about Jordan Grace, although I'm not sure if she's still there. Obviously, Deonna's just left, which is a shame. But they've got people. Killer Kelly. You have to excuse me. I'm not well. Killer Kelly, she's another one. They've got people, right? So I think that if it had have been that, it would have been like, I would have been on board with it. But even though they changed pay-per-view to premium live event, even though they had the poster that said you won't believe who's going to show up, even though they had Worlds Will Collide, even though the Triple H announcement is tonight, which is the same night as TNA or Impact, right? Even though all those things, right, there was enough there then for me to go, okay, I'll do a video on it. So I did a video on it. And to be honest, it did gain, not the video, the rumor gained some traction. And basically PW Insider came out, I think it was yesterday, and said, just so you know, there's nothing to this. There's nothing to this. Which is, you know, a shame, but I can't say too surprising. It was a theory, it was a thought, it was joining up some dots to see, you know, was we going to go that road? And, you know, it's not, seemingly so. The partnership thing doesn't look like it's going to happen. So I'm not expecting a partnership agreement. Someone did say in the chat, though, even if Triple H doesn't announce it tonight, maybe they announce them at Hard to Kill, but I don't know. I don't know that's... if it's not going to be tonight, I'm not sure. I'm still interested in who's going to show up, though. You won't believe who's showing up. I still think that's quite interesting, so I don't know. Hard to Kill looks quite interesting this year. Elizabeth said, I love to see Cody finishing the story at Money in the Bank in Toronto. Hannah said, is Cody leaving? No. What if something with AJ? I don't know what it would be with AJ. NXT Africa, said Juan. I don't think so, just because Europe was the one they seemed to want to do first. If it's not going to be Europe, then because of the relationship with All Japan, I would then expect it to be NXT Japan. So if they are going to announce an NXT Europe or an NXT somewhere, those would be the two front runners for me. Undoubtedly, they would love to do an NXT Africa. I mean, the talent in Africa has been ignored for too long, way too long. I mean, just imagine the promotion you could have with NXT Africa. Amazing. But yeah, no, I think they would probably start with Europe or Japan first. The announcement is Money in the Bank being in the blah blah center. Well, it could be, but I really don't think so, because they said that the announcement was going to be made on this show. Tune in to hear about the announcement. That Money in the Bank announcement has already been put out by Triple H on social media. So that's not a rumor. Like, that has come out from Triple H. It's not like, oh, this is going to happen and it's about to be announced. Triple H has announced it earlier today. So because that's not on this show, unless they're going to say, oh, did you see earlier today Triple H announced this? Which, if they do that, that would be really disappointing, because that just means, like, you don't need to watch this show, you know? They teased like a big announcement by Triple H on this show. So that would be a bit misleading if that's what they are going to do. So I'm expecting, rightfully or wrongfully, I'm expecting something else. Dark Angel said Triple H will channel his inner Tony Khan and announce that he doesn't have an announcement. Nita said, do you think Triple H sees the flack that Tony gets about big announcements and won't fumble? You have to think he sees that. That's true. That's true. Manny said, is the announcement on the network or TNT Sports? It'll be on the network. Brony said, you must not have seen Sean's tweet saying Triple H announcement Money in the Bank in Toronto. No, I have not seen that. Is that what Sean is saying? If that is what the announcement is, that'll be really disappointing. But no, I have not seen anything of the sort from Sean. Did you hear AEW from an AEW fan perspective? Did you hear much from AEW? Hang on, what? Let me have a look at. Let me go to Sean's thing and see what Sean's saying. Did you hear much from AEW from an AEW fan perspective? It felt like last night's episode was restoring the old AEW feeling. Practically everything was good. It felt like the old AEW, says Daniel. Mr. Unfamiliar said, imagine if Endeavor wants Brock to fight in an MMA fight at Mania. Oh, he tweets so much. I'm scrolling down. I'm only about an hour ago. The ratings dropped after the Adam Cole segment. Okay, I found it. So 2 hours ago, Sean said, I asked if the announcement tonight was going to be the Money in the Bank reveal. WWE claimed it was. If Triple H announcement is Money in the Bank, why would they announce it earlier in the day? It doesn't make any sense. Sean says, I don't have that answer. I asked if the announcement tonight was Money in the Bank. WWE claimed it was. Well, there we go. No, that was 2 hours ago and I didn't see that. So that I've got to say, if that is true, and it certainly seems like it would be, I think that's really disappointing. Really disappointing because that's not what was said. What was said was tune in to find out like a Triple H announcement. So why put it out earlier in the day? So that is really disappointing. Really disappointing. I can't sugarcoat that or make that seem any better than it is. Like, if that is what we're getting, that's, I don't know, that's really disappointing. We'll have to see if it's not them, like, you know, throwing the dirt sheets off the scent. You know, we'll have to see if it's not them just trying to make sure that the dirt sheets aren't sniffing around. Because if they had have said, no, it's not that, then the dirt sheets may have continued looking and digging, and WWE may not want it getting ruined, right? That's the optimistic way of looking at it. The optimistic way of looking at it is that. But so we'll still wait and see what it is. But if it is that, I will feel cheated. I'm not going to lie. Eric said, I hope you feel better. It's not a good way to start 2024. Eric, shout out to you. Do you know, it's weird. I feel better. I felt all right the other day, and I've spent 2 days really taking a lot of, like, you know, Lemsips and all that stuff. And I'm wondering if it's maybe just a case that I really have not spoke for 2 days. For 2 days, they said rest your voice. That's one of the best things you can do. And so I think my voice is recovering and still quite weak. So this is, we'll be all right. We'll get through. But yeah, it's probably a case that I've not done a great deal of talking in the past 48 hours. Bubba Williams said, figure does not suck. I just tried to see if it works. Spurs Gamer said, maybe they want us to really think there's not an announcement and then it'll be a big one, kind of like CM Punk at War Games. Well, I mean, look, we're going to watch and we'll see. The Triple H announcement is something that I think was really grabbing people's attention. This was an interesting show anyway, because we don't normally do these kinds of shows. You know, I'm not aware of another one coming up, for example. I mean, they could do a few interesting things where they do like announcements and like, you know, preview the next month or whatever. They could do one of these type of shows every month where we preview the next month we ask, like, look at different storylines that are happening. We look at what we're building towards, and then there's some sort of an announcement from Triple H. We could do 12 of them a year. But I've never seen them do anything like this before. And so this, I was interested in this anyway. I wanted to watch this anyway. So we have tuned in, and yeah, that announcement went out earlier from Triple H. But to be honest, that announcement didn't even strike me as that big of an announcement. Like, Money in the Bank going to Toronto is like, okay, cool, I'm pleased for Toronto, but that doesn't affect me. I would imagine it doesn't affect a great deal of you. It doesn't affect, like, the majority of the world, but yeah, you know, it's just kind of like, that's the kind of an announcement I could see being worthy of a tweet, which is why in my mind I was like, okay, they've put that out as a tweet because they don't feel like it's big enough to put on this show. That's cool, right? I agree. I agree. So hopefully whatever we're going to get on this show is going to be juicier, you know. This is why my mind was thinking more new title, new championship, tournament, King or Queen of the Ring, NXT Europe, the WWE Speed Show. Like, all of these affects all of us. And these feel like much bigger announcements. And these feel like the kind of announcements that's the kind of thing I want Triple H to announce tonight. I'm not bothered about Money in the Bank in Canada. God bless you in Canada. No shade. I was super excited when Money in the Bank was announced for London. So I definitely know the excitement of having it come into your area. But I can tell you that doesn't really strike me. It going to Canada, I think Toronto, a place that we've been to many times before, you know? Maybe if it was the first time we were going there, then that would be significant. But we've been to Toronto loads of times. So I kind of feel like, yeah, that was worthy of a tweet, but it's not really what I'm looking for from an announcement point of view. So I got to say, man, we've got to be honest. If this is the announcement, right, and it's looking like the front runner right now, I got to say that's an L. I got to say it's an L. It's just you kind of get yourself, like, excited, and if that is going to be the announcement, maybe I got myself worked a bit too much up, you know. But they have made a big deal of this week. They have said, like, you know, this is, I don't know what they called it, showcase week or whatever. We've had day one Raw, which was great. Really enjoyed that. I thought New Year's Eve was a bit of a step down, but to be honest, as I said, I was in survival mode for the second part of that stream. Hopefully tomorrow's show is going to be good because Roman is going to be on that show, and we are expecting him to reply to The Rock. So, or that's what I'm expecting. He did send out the tweet, but I'm expecting a bit more than that. So Roman's on the show, and we know as well that we've got some good matches. We've got that triple threat where we're going to try and find Roman's challenger for the Royal Rumble. So there's definitely some interesting stuff going on New Year's Revolution. That's tomorrow, and they've just made a big deal of this week. So if that is going to be the announcement, and they've already, I mean, I feel like that announcement would be an L anyway, even if they hadn't have already announced it. But already announcing an announcement that you said was going to be announced on this show, that is definitely an L. That is definitely an L. So, but we'll see. We'll see. We got half an hour to go. Brian said, don't you think it's time to take the Christmas tree down? No, I said that we would keep it up and run it for this week. So it'll go down over the weekend. Aaron said, when do you think Rock Roman will take place? And what is your dream finish for that match? I think it'll take place at Elimination Chamber. I would like it to be WrestleMania. My dream finish. I think The Rock should be about to win, and then someone like Solo interferes and Roman wins. I mean, my dream finish is not The Rock winning. The Rock is a big superstar who just comes back like once in a blue moon. Did we see him once last year on that SmackDown thing? And to be honest, I don't think we'd seen him for a few years before that. So him coming back and like winning the championship and beating Roman, like, no thank you. He had his time. It was in the past. He's a massive star who does not need to be the one that beats Roman. He doesn't need it. He's as big as he's ever going to be, right? Someone else will benefit from beating Roman. Someone else will benefit. Should benefit. Because if it's someone like Cody, I'm not the biggest Cody fan. I don't hate him by any means, right? I'm just not someone that goes and buys his merch and, you know, roots, like, you know, goes crazy for him. I don't mind watching him. He's fine. I haven't got an issue with him. He's fine. I hope he finishes the story. But it makes a lot more sense for him to be the one because he is someone that the kids are really connected with. He's someone that's still active. He's someone that's got like potentially years ahead of him, more WrestleMania appearances. You know, he'll go to house shows and he will be the one that finally beat Roman. You know, you can actually see him at a house show, buy a ticket and see the guy that finally beat Roman Reigns. You can't do that if it's The Rock, because I'll tell you now, The Rock ain't doing house shows, right? He ain't doing house shows. So you ain't going to be able to buy a ticket and see the guy that beat Roman Reigns unless you want to buy a movie ticket and watch him on a screen. So for me, The Rock's just not the right person to beat Roman. I actually think that Roman's title reign will reach its pinnacle when he beats The Rock. That will be the moment that just really, that's the cherry on top, really. That's the cherry on top. He's got this historic reign, one of the longest ever. If he can beat someone within that run, like The Rock, I mean, that is just the pinnacle of it. That is the zenith. So even if it is by cheating. And I could see it being a case that The Rock's about to win. Solo distracts, blah, 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 whatever. And Roman wins. And that for me is perfect because it just begs the question, well, if The Rock can't do it, how the hell is Cody going to do it? If The Rock can't get it done, what chance does Cody stand? He doesn't, does he? He doesn't stand a chance. And then he wins. So that for me is like great, perfect, lovely, thank you. And I love that I love that mentality of giving back, you know. I'm a big believer in it. If you're a big superstar, a legend, and you've had so many people lay down for you, so many people that you've pinned and beaten, right? Like, you are, I would say, committed? Is that the word? Obligated. That's a nice word. I'd say you're obligated to give back. It's your obligation at the end of your career to give back to the business. So many people lay down to make you the star you are. So many people throughout your career have put you over. They could have screwed you over. Right? We know that wrestling's scripted. So many people could have said, no, I ain't doing it. Right? But they did it because it was the right thing to do. It was the best thing for business. And so many people have put you over and made you the star you are. And basically given The Rock the platform to then transition over to Hollywood and then make himself an even bigger star. Right? No denying that since he went to Hollywood, he's now, you know, known by even more people. But the reason he even got to Hollywood was because of the platform WWE gave him. And that platform was because people laid down for him, right? So for me, he's at the point now, and we've seen it from John Cena, right? They're at the point now where their careers are done. They're legends. They're bona fide legends, Hall of Famers, legends. Cena will forever be introduced as the GOAT. Doesn't matter how many times he loses now. It doesn't matter. He could lose for the next 10 years. Makes no difference. He will always, unless like he does something stupid, like, you know, the racist thing that Hogan did. But you know, as long as he doesn't do anything stupid, I think he'll always be introduced as the GOAT, and rightfully so. Well, you can debate whether he's the GOAT or not, but I think that he is definitely a name which I would have in the conversation for Mount Rushmore, WWE. When you think about Mount Rushmore, you think about the likes of Hogan, Stone Cold, Rock, Cena, Undertaker, Roman, like these Bruno, Andre. These are the you know, for me, you've got to find 4 out of those. Maybe Ric Flair, maybe Triple H. But, you know, I would say that Shawn and Brett are the next level down for me personally, but I know many of you would put them on the Mount Rushmore. But I think Cena's right there. So if WWE want to announce him as the GOAT, and that's their prerogative. And he has laid down loads. He laid down for Roman. He put Roman over. He laid down for Solo, put Solo over. You know, he has been laying down quite a bit. I mean, I don't know what the Firefly Funhouse match was with Bray, but I know Cena didn't win it, right? Whatever it was. He might not have lost it. I don't know what happened, but he didn't win it. I know that. So I sort of feel like when you get to this stage of your career, you put others over. And I think this is the right thing for The Rock to do, put Roman over. So I think, do you know, I think the odds will reflect that as well. I think if there's going to be betting odds, I would fully expect Roman to be the favourite. Quite a good favourite as well. Like minus 1,000 or something like this, you know. Fully expect Roman to win, and he should win. And then that sets up Cody and allows Cody to finish his story. Bruno Sammartino is the GOAT, says Black Frank White. JC said it would be awesome if Triple H announced free agent signing MJF and Sasha Banks. Cynthia said there's rumours it could be Brock who fights Gunther. That would be sick. Not JPEG said, is it true Kayla Braxton has a small role in a horror film? Don't know. Eric says, Rock only needs the title of Tribal Chief, not the WWE title. If the match takes place at WrestleMania, I could see Roman losing the title before WrestleMania and having it be Randy versus Cody and Roman versus The Rock. Well, that would mean that we have to do Cody, Roman at Elimination Chamber, because that's the biggest show before, or the only show, big show only. I mean, I think there's only Rumble, Chamber, and WrestleMania. And I gotta be honest, I don't know how I feel about the story being finished in outside of America. You know, he's called the American Nightmare. His dad was the American Dream. And he's going to finally get his hands on a championship in Australia. Not a fan. I don't know. I'm not a fan. I think I would much rather do Rock Roman in Elimination Chamber. I agree. You don't have to have it for the title, but it doesn't matter if it is. Do Rock Roman at Elimination Chamber, and then Cody at WrestleMania in front of more eyes on the bigger platform in America. Like, I would rather do that. I completely agree that Rock Roman should be at WrestleMania as well. I completely agree with that. Like, they both should be at WrestleMania. And part of me really does lean to do Rock Roman night 1 and then do Roman Cody night 2. Like, that, I lean to that. But if we're going to do that, then Cody would have to have a match night 1 as well. And then you are going to have 2 very nervous waits to make sure that they don't get injured in them matches. Like, you're gonna be watching them matches just thinking, please get through these, please get through these, please get through these. And it will be quite nervy. As long as Cody gets through his match and Roman gets through his match, I mean, how that affects the quality of the match on night 2, don't know. I mean, these are trained professionals. They do house shows, and then they do shows, you know, the next day, whatever. I mean, they work on a Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I mean, they're used to doing match. You know what I mean? Like, they're used to doing it. It's not something that's crazy or a big ask for them to do 2 days in a row, like a match on a Saturday and then a match again on a Sunday. It's just how high profile they are. Like, they're so high profile that if anything goes wrong in either of those matches on night one, and you'd have to have Cody in a match, you'd have to, because the problem would be that Roman would be seen as disadvantaged because Cody's fresh and Roman's just had to face The Rock. So, you know, it wouldn't be a good look for Cody. It would be seen like the deck was stacked in his favor, and that's not a good look. So yeah, I would definitely be down for that, and keep my fingers crossed. If not, then I think Rock Roman at Elimination Chamber. Rock Roman Elimination Chamber. Cody finishing the story at WrestleMania. But you could do it the other way. I just really don't know how I do. I don't like it. I was going to say, I don't know how I feel about the American Nightmare winning the title in Australia and finishing the story there, and Roman dropping the belt and doing it just before WrestleMania as well, you know? Just before WrestleMania 40. Like, the last pay-per-view before WrestleMania 40, we're going to have Roman's title reign end. Like, well, that seems strange, doesn't it? That seems strange. I get the logic. I understand the logic. I get the reasoning. But it still seems strange. You'd think WrestleMania 40 is where the big stuff's going to go down. Like, Roman's reign will come to an end and Cody's story will get finished and blah, 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 blah. WWE has a triple threat every 5 years, it seems. So why not do Cody, Rock, Roman for the WWE title, says Damien. I'm personally not a fan of triple threats, so I'm not the right person to ask for that. I think the problem with the triple threat, and certainly when it comes to a championship, is the champion doesn't have to be pinned for him to lose the belt. So it's not a very satisfying passing of the torch. You know, if Cody is going to win that championship, he could do it by pinning The Rock. And even if he doesn't do it by pinning The Rock and he ends up doing it by pinning Roman, Roman's defense is going to be, I had to have eyes in the back of my head. It wasn't a fair fight. I was having to watch two different people. Had it have been one-on-one like it was at WrestleMania 39, I would have won. And I think that just takes a little bit away from Cody. I really think whoever beats Roman, they've got to do it one-on-one, clean. They've got to overcome the odds of the bloodline. You're going to have Solo interfering. You're going to have Jimmy interfering. You're probably going to have Paul Heyman interfering. You've got to know these things are going to happen. And you've got to overcome them. I've said before, a lot of people look at it like Roman is a cheater. Roman is a disgrace. Roman is someone that only wins by cheating. I always look at it the other way round. The other way round is, if WWE had a problem with that, they would have banned the bloodline from ringside long ago. Long ago. But they don't, and they haven't. Right? Because, to be honest, WWE know that Roman as champion is good for their ratings. It's good for their product. So, basically, WWE are saying, yes, you are going to have to overcome the bloodline, but no babyface has worked out how to do it. All the babyfaces just look stupid. They look dumb. They just look like idiots. Like, why did Cody not have a better plan for WrestleMania 39 last year? He had to know that Solo was going to get involved. He should have had a plan A, a plan B, a plan C. Like, when someone finally beats Roman, that's what I want to see. I would love the psychology of Cody having someone come down and deal with Jimmy and Solo. And then just when you think that that's it, he's done it, right? He's figured it out. Then Solo comes back, right? Or Paul Heyman then gets involved, right? And then all of a sudden, you're like, oh my God, we haven't got rid of the problem. Like plan A has failed. Well, plan B is Dustin Rhodes is in the crowd. He jumps over the barricade and deals with Solo or deals with Heyman. And oh my God, Cody had a backup plan and it was Dustin Rhodes. And that has dealt with this problem, right? Maybe you push it again and have another issue arise. And Cody needs a plan C. He needs a backup to the backup. And he has it, and I don't know what it would be, right? But I would love the psychology of that. I would love the psychology of actually seeing a babyface not be a complete idiot and actually have plans for the bloodline and have a way to overcome not just Roman, but Solo, Jimmy, Heyman, because that's what you've got to do. And that's what no one has done. The only person that I can really give credit to is Drew McIntyre, because he dealt with the Usos and Sammy in the build-up to Clash at the Castle. And then at Clash at the Castle, I think it was just Roman and Heyman. I don't even know if Heyman was there, actually. I'd have to go back and see if even Heyman was there. I don't even know if Heyman was there. But even so, he'd got rid of the Usos and Sammy, and they weren't around. It was one-on-one, basically. He'd got it, done it, solved it. Brilliant. And if needed, Tyson Fury was in the crowd. And he needed Fury because Theory comes down with the briefcase, bang, gets knocked out by Fury. There was a plan for Austin Theory, right? Even a cash-in, even a Money in the Bank cash-in was seemingly planned for. Tyson Fury was right there, right by where you hand the briefcase in. Bang, right? Don't know if that was a plan on Drew's part or just coincidence, but you know, it's pretty fun to think that it was planned. But then, what's this? Solo Sikoa from underneath the ring. Solo Sikoa from underneath the ring from NXT interferes. Never seen him on the main roster before. And screws Drew. That to me, I mean, I hated it at the time because I don't mind that bit, but I hated the fact they didn't have a way of picking the crowd up after. We did a stupid sing-song, which I think has been edited off the show now, to be honest. But I love the psychology of that. I love that Drew dealt with everything, or seemingly everything, and then it turns out he hadn't. I love that. I think that's brilliant. And I want to see a babyface overcome that again. So I just sort of think, like, if you do Roman, Rock, Cody, you're sort of starting to stack it against Roman. And I don't really like that dynamic. Don't really like that. Because now Roman's got a problem that he's got to overcome. And it's like, nah, if the belt changes hands that way, he's got an excuse. You know, it'll be satisfying, but I don't know that it'll be as satisfying as whether it was one-on-one. So I think I would much rather we just do Cody, Roman, one-on-one, have some stuff go wrong, have Cody show that he planned for it, and he overcomes it and wins the title. And he is the one. So that is what I would be looking for WrestleMania. I think that is my number one, if you will, right? If I could book anything for WrestleMania, it would be that, because I know the money that's going to be involved in Rock Roman. I think you can still do that match at Elimination Chamber, and yes, I completely agree it should be at WrestleMania. I completely agree. The alternative is we do it at WrestleMania and then we do what I just said at SummerSlam, because I think SummerSlam will be in America. And I think that's still going to be a 60-odd thousand crowd. It's not WrestleMania, but, you know, I can live with it. So you do Rock Roman there, and then you do Roman Cody at SummerSlam. I could live with that. or we do Rock Roman at Elimination Chamber, which kind of sucks because it's not WrestleMania, but then at least we still get Roman Cody main event in WrestleMania. So I think there are a few ways that we can go. I genuinely don't know which way they're going to go. I feel like if I was a betting man, I would say they'll probably do Rock Roman in Australia and then do Roman Cody at WrestleMania. I think the reason why I'm saying that is because it wasn't long ago that we heard rumors that they were looking to do they wanted to get The Rock in Australia. They wanted him. They were going to pay extra to have him. Like, is there a way we can do it? And I remember, like, at the time scoffing, going, of course they do. Of course they want The Rock. Right? Of course they do. Saudi wants The Rock. I'm sure that the UK wanted The Rock. Everyone wants The Rock. So it's like, yeah, good luck with that. But now he's here. So all of a sudden you think, oh, okay. Maybe they got him. Perhaps they produced a number, cash-wise, that was to everyone's liking. So yeah, we'll have to see as to how that all plays out. But I suppose the bottom line is, in some form, in some way, however you want it and however we get it, however I want it and however we get it, it's looking pretty good that Rock and Roman are going to be in the ring competing at the same time at some point. So gotta take that. Daniel said, pre-order 2K24 and you get a Black Wednesday pack. Andrew said, Tama Tonga helps Cody win at Mania Night 2 against Roman, and Cody makes a new Bullet Club with Tama Tonga. And Nubav said, Rock Roman ends in shenanigans at the Chamber, and then they run it back at SummerSlam, and then a trilogy at next year's Mania. I do need to say as well, I botched tonight a little bit. I did not realize that my good friend Tommy Toy Travels was streaming tonight. I did not know, right? Because I know he said he was thinking of doing TNA, but TNA doesn't really start until I think it's the 13th, Hard to Kill. So I genuinely didn't know he was starting tonight. So I sent him an email going, I'm sorry, I didn't know you were streaming tonight. And he's actually doing TNA. So what I would say is, if you are interested in TNA tonight, then on the Wrestling Daze channel, there's a link to his stream. And actually, we will finish before he finishes. So if you want to carry on the conversation about what we've seen, about whatever this Triple H announcement's going to be, which at the moment looks quite disappointing. But if you want to carry on the conversation once we're finished, he will still be streaming, so you will be able to go over there. So I did drop the ball there. I sort of said we would do this stream before I even knew that he was streaming tonight. Bradley said, Charlie Dempsey in AJPW mean anything? Well, it means something. I mean, it's hard to say what it means at this stage. It means there's a relationship, right? We've sent someone over to them because they wanted someone from NXT. The things that I don't see happening is I don't see NXT versus All Japan like show. Don't really see that because I don't know any of those All Japan stars, and I'm guessing the majority, 99% of you lot don't either. So it's hard to see where the appeal of that is, because if you're an NXT fan, them going up against some load of people we've never heard of, is that really going to bring in views? Is that really going to excite people? I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, we can all pretend like we know who these wrestlers are in All Japan, right? But let's not do that. Let's be honest and say I ain't got a flipping clue, right? Not a clue who they are. Not a Scooby. When do we ever talk about All Japan? We don't. We talk about New Japan, And there may be some people in All Japan that have gone there that are like, yeah, you know, this person, or, you know, they used to be in New Japan, or they used to be in TNA or whatever, right? But outside of the odd exception, I don't know anyone, right? So I really don't see there being a show on that scale. But what I could see is that we continue to send people over to them, and that they send the odd person over to us to put on the show, you know? So they could send someone over, and we just put them in a match on NXT, and it's like, oh, this is the person from All Japan, let's see how good they are. Doesn't derail the show, it's not the main event, it's not in the way. We've just done a breakout tournament with a load of people we don't know, so it's not going to be a problem for them to send one or two people over. So I feel like something along those lines. Plus also, it was reported that All Japan was going to be the basis for NXT Japan, so it could be that we're just planting seeds for that as well. So I don't know. I don't see it as being, certainly nothing to do with the main roster. Nothing to do with the main roster. I'm thinking it's an exchange of talent. It's a foothold into Japan, and we can use that as the basis for NXT Japan. And I don't even know if that might change now. That was the plan before. We wanted to buy All Japan and then turn it into NXT Japan. But yeah, it's good that we've got a little foothold there. We've got a little something there. And I'll tell you what's exciting about this one is we actually sent Shinsuke to Noah, I believe it was, last year. That, though, felt a bit different because he went there for the Great Muta's final match. And that felt like a special occasion. This one didn't feel like that. This was just a show, and we ended up sending someone. We didn't really need to. It wasn't a need to. It wasn't like a legend was retiring or anything like this. So it was a bit different. It certainly implies that there's been a conversation. There's some sort of agreement in place. We've sent someone over there. Maybe they send someone to us, to NXT. And we'll see where it goes, and we'll see where it builds. I'm certainly not expecting a Forbidden Door type show. I'm not expecting that because I think New Japan is sort of regarded as maybe the third or fourth biggest promotion in the world. At one point, I think you could make an argument it was maybe second or third. In a battle with Impact. I don't even know where All Japan is. Not a clue. Is it bigger than CMLL? Is it bigger than AAA? Is it bigger than Noah? It's not bigger than New Japan. So if we're going to do a Forbidden Door with All Japan, we're doing a Forbidden Door with the 8th biggest promotion in the world. I don't know. It's nowhere near the same as AEW doing a show with New Japan. That's like number 2 and number 3 in the world, putting on a super show. This would be like, I don't know what NXT would be ranked at, and I don't know what All Japan would be ranked at, but it just feels very different from Forbidden Door. So I'm struggling to see that. Tom Servo said the announcement will be there will be another announcement. Well, we're not far away from finding out. We're actually at the halfway point of this stream. I want to say a big thank you to everyone that's joining us. Apologies that I've got this cold. I don't know why I can't shake it. I have no idea. I've had this thing for like a week. I don't know why it's not leaving me alone. But I feel fine within myself. It's just all in my nose and everything. And I've done nothing but rest for 2 days. This is why you haven't seen much output on the channel, because I've been desperately trying to just get rid of this. But who knows, maybe actually talking, because I haven't done much of it for 2 days, is actually going to help, just warm the pipes up a little bit. So we will be back tomorrow for SmackDown. No ifs, and I don't care if my voice is shot. We will be. I said we'd be here tonight, and we are. We will be here tomorrow for SmackDown. Yeah, you can take that to the bank. So we will be here tomorrow for that. But yeah, we're about to find out what this announcement is. But it is true, as Brony mentioned earlier, that Sean Ross Sapp, I hadn't seen it, but Sean Ross Sapp a couple of hours ago saying that the Triple H Money in the Bank announcement is believed to be the announcement, or at least that's what he was told. I've said, I'm sorry. I know that we've got a lot of hardcore WWE stans, right? I class myself as a pretty hardcore WWE fan as well, considering I've been watching since 1992. But if that is going to be the announcement, it's an L. It's an L. It's straight out of the Tony Khan playbook, because it's already been announced, which sucks. Like, it's already been announced on social media hours and hours ago. So that would mean, like, you don't need to watch this. But let's see what it is before we hand that L out, shall we? Here we go, then. We are about to get underway with this preview. WWE 2024 Preview Special. Okay, so... how we're going to structure this, I really don't know. Like, what it is that we're going to actually be... We're in a studio. We have got Megan Morant and we have got Matt Camp. And we are just inside a... Oh, yeah. CM Punk's going to be joining us. And we're also going to hear from the Women's World Champion, Trick and Carmelo, apparently on the show. There's a lot that's going to be on. We're hearing from Cody Rhodes as well. So, hearing from... it's New Year's Knockout. And they're talking about the fact we're just one day away. Could it start from SmackDown? Could it start any bigger than it has? Asks Megan. This is going to be a weird one to watch, isn't it? It's going to be a weird one to watch because it's talking. And a talking show is a bit strange. Don't tell me they're going to make a wet t-shirt announcement. I don't believe they are. Ravinda said, where are you watching this? Oh, it's on WWE's network. I don't know if it's on their YouTube channel. You would think that it would be on their YouTube channel, because this definitely feels like a kind of show that we would put on the YouTube channel. But no, it's on the WWE network. That's where you'll find it. So Peacock or wherever your network lives. But as we said, we are just in the studio. Just looking at what happened this past Monday with Seth and Drew. That was so good when he had Seth's foot on the rope. He pinned him and like bent him over, and Seth's foot went on the rope. And then Seth with a pedigree on the commentary table. Boom! Table didn't break, man. Table didn't. It's always moody when the table doesn't break. Certainly after a big spot like that. And then chucked him in the ring. Obviously hit the curb. Bang. Curb stomp. Gets it done. Goes for the cover. What next for Drew, though? There was a lot of people that were really quite down on that. Really wanted Drew to get the job done. And I can understand it, to be honest. Oh, here's CM Punk. So we're going to hear from CM Punk. CM Punk, we can see what's on his shelves behind him. It looks very organized. He's got lots of books the same size. He's got an AJ Lee, lots of AJ Lee figures, and an AJ Lee Pop Funko as well. AJ making her presence felt in the background. So they're just talking to CM Punk. Asking him what it was like to walk out in front of those fans in Chicago. He says, everything that day happened so fast. Never text and drive. He said that he was texting people on his way there that were in his family, letting them know what was about to happen. It was a magical moment. Nerves. I bet there was nerves. I bet it weird, but I bet there was. Don't quite know how those WWE fans are going to react to him, you know? Don't know if you've noticed, but there is a bit of tribalism in wrestling amongst the fans. He said he couldn't hear his entrance song anymore. He couldn't find his cues. He said he couldn't hear the song. It was so loud. All his cues went out the window. He didn't even know when it was clobbering time. It's always clobbering time. I bet it just says that on his watch all the time. It just literally says, it's what time? Oh, it's clobbering time. It was amazing. He says they call them live events now, but they'll always be house shows to me. He says TV is a whole nervous ball of energy, but live events are different. When you're at TV, there's a lot of bosses. When you're at house show, I am the boss. The TNA working relationship has been disproven, says Big Mike. Kaiser said Money in the Bank in Toronto. I feel like Mercedes is coming back to WWE, said Toby. They did the same thing with Punk. They said that there was no chance. I wouldn't be surprised if Monet appears. Just took a shot at AEW, says Jerry. Do you think so? What about the bosses? Supportington said Supportington has recovered and is back. Supportington, welcome back, my friend. Shout out to you. My good buddy Cody says he likes to finish his story. But this is me finishing what I started. I'm 10 years wiser. I'm going to win the Rumble and main event WrestleMania. At least that's the plan, said CM Punk. The year of Punk. That's what they're calling this. The Preview Special 2024. The year of Punk. Is it going to be the year of Punk or the year of Cody? Punk says... He says there's a lot of people in WWE now that, for better or worse, looked up to a guy like me. He's talking about looking up to Terry Funk, Eddie Guerrero, Bret Hart. This is really interesting. Oh, Seth is a guy that wouldn't have got the opportunities he's gotten if it wasn't for me. Do you think the hate of Seth is warranted? Maybe Seth's jealous. Maybe he's envious. A lot of the times, if you've got differences with someone, you can settle it. Really feels like Seth, Punk, title, Mania. That feels like where we're going. To me, anyway. CM Punk returns to Raw this Monday. Asking about Larry. I think my better half has him locked away. No, you shouldn't have brought Larry. You should have brought AJ Lee. That's what you should have brought. Do the whistle again, but this time don't say Larry. Say AJ. AJ. Get her on. We want to hear from AJ. Don't care about the stupid dog. We do. I love dog. Megan asks about winning the Rumble. Oh, he's just talking about his goals. One of my goals used to be to wrestle every weekend. That's never been Roman Reigns' goal. Once a year is Roman Reigns' goal. He says, I'm constantly learning. Every experience helps me move forwards. This is a long interview, isn't it? In a good way. I set those goals and they were so big and so scary I couldn't accomplish them until I grew into the person I am. Yeah, but he didn't see that way at the time though, did he? It's all well and good saying, you know, I set myself some high goals back in the day and I couldn't achieve them until I became who I am now. Well, that's all well and good, but you didn't see it that way 10 years ago. This is why you walked out. CM Punk says if he's number one in the Rumble, that he won't see that as a hindrance. He's going to be in the best shape he possibly can be to win the whole thing. Well, there we go. CM Punk. We will get to the super chats in a second, my friends. I think we might be about to go to a little bit of a break, maybe. Still to come, 2 superstars will be revealed as entrants in the Royal Rumble. That looks like an outline of Becky. The other one looks like an outline of... don't know. Bobby? Still to come, Cody, Rhea, Carmelo, Trick, Montez, Bianca, Heyman. They haven't mentioned Triple H. Tomorrow night. Right, well, there we go. I thought that was pretty fun, you know. There was loads in that. I don't think there's... It's one of those where you probably could do a video on it, like, oh, CM Punk just said this. There wasn't really anything massive, but there's some nice little bits in there. Ryan Gambler, shout out to you, my friends. Cynthia said Triple H's announcement is Dad's wrestling debut. Do you mean Daze's? Or your dad? It's literally going to be Cynthia's dad is making his wrestling debut. Cynthia said, I'm sorry, I meant to say Triple H's announcement is your wrestling debut. I hope you are feeling better, Days. There we go. She clean. Oh, here we go. Triple H. They've got his tweet on. Is that the announcement, though? They're showing the Triple H tweet from earlier. No idea. No idea. They just mentioned the Triple H tweet from earlier, but they haven't really told us. Well, they haven't told us if that is the announcement from Triple H or not. NXT Vengeance Day, Clarksville, Tennessee on February 4th. And NXT Stand and Deliver, Philadelphia, April 6th. I mean, I think we knew it was going to be Philadelphia anyway, because that's where Fort is coming from. So they're just touching on NXT at the moment. Yes, Elia got injured, didn't he? Hopefully we see him soon. That was weird, weren't it? That was really weird. So it was meant to be Trick against Elia, and Elia was removed, but we got Grayson instead, which was pretty fun. And then they just dropped Kevin Owens in there for I don't know what reason. Yeah, completely a different opponent. A tough opponent as well. Carmelo came out. I definitely thought he was about to screw him. And then there was Kevin Owens. Bang with another shot. Throws Grayson back into the ring. Carmelo doesn't interfere. Trick gets the win. And he wins the main event of NXT New Year's Evil. It was a bit strange, but Trick and Carmelo are on the line. Getting them both at the same time. Now, are they going to do anything here that's just going to be a little bit teasy, you know? Are we going to get anything here where Carmelo's going to give a little look, or that's what I'm looking for? Any dissension between these two, that's what we're looking for. So we've got Carmelo, we've got Trick. If you don't watch NXT, these two are probably two of the biggest stars. Maybe the two big. You got Elia, you got Braun, but these two are right up there. Definitely these guys will be heading to the main roster. Carmelo probably first, is a bit further along. It's one-sided drama. I've done nothing but support Trick. Oh, Megan's stirring, man. She's stirring. How did you feel about Carmelo putting your #1 contendership on the line? He just got excited. I understand that now. But that's how much confidence he's got in me. We put it all on the line. That's what we do. Good answer. So, beat Grayson. Asking Trick how he handled that last minute change. This match, because they're definitely going to split, but this match when they face each other, oh my god, it's going to be so good. It's going to be so good when these two finally face each other. Right now we've got Trick and Carmelo. They're asking Carmelo about his appearance on SmackDown because he was in that tournament, the US tournament. Carmelo said maybe there's a bit of unsettled business, unfinished business. I'm ready for the next opportunity. Focused on Vengeance Day. That's it. Nothing. No dissension. Oh, I would have liked something from that. I would have liked some little disagreement, some little dirty look, something. They're talking about Elimination Chamber coming live February 24th from Perth, Australia. That could be huge. That could be huge. That could be Rock versus Roman Reigns. Could be Roman versus Cody, couldn't it? Now we're going to Rhea. Look at this, man. No time to stop. I can't get to the chat. We're going over to Ria Ripley. Wow, look at her place. She's got like a black throne, candles. She lives in the kind of place you would expect that she would live. She lives in what looks to be like a bit of a dungeon. Here, look. Isn't that exactly where you would think that Rhea Ripley would live? Look how dark it all is with candles and a throne and all this kind of stuff. Rhea said that Ivy is a little pipsqueak who held her own. But this is mommy's world, and you're just living in it. Main event didn't quite go the way you wanted. Because of the failed Damian Priest cash-in, of course. Drew was still up and at it, and it didn't work out for Damian. Mommy doesn't give away plans. In my mind, she's sat on that throne, but she's got her feet on Dirty Dom, who's like down on his hands and knees. I would love it if the camera panned down and Dirty Dom was on his hands and knees and Mommy just had her feet like that. That would be good. Yes, is truth in the Judgment Day. Rhea said I've had it up to here with R-Truth. It was cool to see Awesome Truth back together, but they should stay together. We're not looking at Truth right now. He keeps breaking into our clubhouse. Imagine, what if R-Truth interrupts this? All of a sudden there's some static and then R-Truth appears and he like interrupts the feed. Oh, that'd be so good. We've not discussed this. We've not come to an agreement that our truth's in the Judgment Day. Wonder who she will face in Australia, because that's going to be big, innit? Rhea Ripley against, it's got to be someone big in Australia. Who could it be? I mean, I don't think you would do the Becky match in Australia. Unless you do it in Australia and then you do the rematch at WrestleMania. Maybe you do Rhea Becky. Rhea wins. Rhea Becky 2 at WrestleMania. And then I don't know who wins that. Probably Becky. Don't know. I don't know. People like to complain that Mommy doesn't have too many matches. But Mommy's busy doing business. There's nothing anyone can do about it. Megan goes, point taken. Thank you, point taken. Megan doesn't want to annoy Mommy. Yeah, that match killed. Rhea says that's one of her favourite matches she's ever been a part of. It should be the most favourite match, to be honest, because it was legit a match of the year contender. Her and Charlotte, WrestleMania 39. She's my kryptonite, says Rhea. She's the person I'll be fighting for the rest of my career. I'm not sure about that. I think Charlotte might be done relatively soon, like in the next few years. I could see Charlotte very much wanting to have a family and settle down. Although, you know, Becky's had a go and brings it out on the road. She's talking about wanting to step into the ring with Charlotte for many years. She said, I had the crowds that I needed. I had my family there as well. And I took her championship. Yes. They're talking about her going to Australia. I thought they were going to ask who would you like to face or something like that, but they didn't. Backlash, France, May 4th, Lyon Dessy. May 4th. And Bash in Berlin in August. We're going to be in Germany. We're going to be in Canada. We're going to be in France. We're going to be in America. We're sure to be in Saudi Arabia. It's 5 different countries already for premium live events. Oh, they're going to talk WrestleMania 40 when we come back. So a quick commercial break and then we're talking WrestleMania. Right, let's try and blast down some of these super chats. Ryan Gambler said, do you think the announcement is going to be a new TV deal? Well, I'm starting to really worry that the announcement is not going to be an announcement and that it is just what was mentioned earlier, which was the Money in the Bank thing. Which they did show it on screen. They did not make a big deal out of it. Triple H has not been announced as a guest. I don't know. I really don't know what's going on. It just feels really botched. And like they really dropped the ball on it. Right now, I just don't know if we're even going to get anything. So, unfortunately, I think the announcement was the announcement of the Money in the Bank thing. But with half an hour to go, we'll see. If they are going to spring summer on us, then you would imagine it will be right at the very end. They have said that 2 names are going to be added to the Royal Rumble. So at least we're going to get that at the very least. 2 new names will be added to the Royal Rumble lineup. So is that going to be worth watching for? I don't know. Depends who the names are. If they come out with Stone Cold and The Rock, then I would say yes. I'd say yes, that's newsworthy. If it turns out to be Nikki Cross and Akira Tozawa, not sure. Bradley Sees It Live, shout out to you. We read that one earlier. Supportington, shout out to you. Simon Cowie, really appreciate the support, my friend. I hope you're doing well. Hope you're managed to stay away from any colds. Not done what I've done and picked them all up at the same time. But May Fullerton Stampede, his announced meant to be a reveal, not a no like Real Madrid and Barcelona new signing. Hang on. Fullerton Stampede announcement be a reveal, not a no like Real Madrid. I don't understand that. Are you saying that Triple H's announcement will be a reveal, like a new signing? Is that what you're saying? Like when Real Madrid or Barcelona unveil a new player, like Triple H is going to announce a new signing? Well, I hope so. If he announces we've signed MJF, or he announces we've signed even that Julia girl that people seem so excited about, like, or Naomi's coming back, which is one that is expected. If it's going to be something along those lines, let's go. But I honestly, at this stage, don't know. I don't know. It just really is looking not good right now. It's looking like it is just going to be the Money in the Bank thing. But Simon, good thought. Appreciate it. I hope you've had a good day, good festive period. Edward said, Daze, can you read my comment about the chamber? Well, it's on screen, actually. Elimination Chamber will start at 4:30 Australian time and 9:30 UK time. Thoughts? That's my thoughts. My thoughts are, if we're going to go to Australia, it's going to be a weird time, and it's halfway across the world, so it's going to be at a strange time. This to me is not a barrier. This has been an argument for a long time as to why they didn't do premium live events in the UK. So, like, we can't do it because of the time difference. I mean, it's 5 hours time difference between UK time and Eastern time, US Eastern time. To me, this isn't a massive barrier, but apparently it is. But we've shown, I think, like, that Money in the Bank seemed as a success, and Clash at the Castle seemed to be a success. Ideally, you want it to be at a good time for America, because that is the biggest market, that is the biggest audience. So, of course, you have to cater for the American market. It's the biggest market, and that makes total sense. So they, I think, as a priority, will always look to cater for the US market. But if you're going to go to Berlin, if you're going to go to Paris, if you're going to go and do stuff in the UK, if you're going to go to Australia, if you're going to do Saudi shows, you're clearly changing your mentality. Your mentality is now more global, I think we're getting that message quite loud and clear from TKO and Endeavor. Global, like, the amount of untapped potential around the world is just ridiculous. The amount of money around the world that we are not capitalizing on is ridiculous. There is a lot of money to be made that WWE are not making. So, like, for example, go to India. How about that? Yeah, do a massive show in India because, like, wasn't it something ridiculous? Like 40 million people or something tuned into WrestleMania in India alone, right? Mental numbers. So I think Endeavor in particular are going to drive this because that's something UFC do a lot. If you watch UFC, you will know they go all over the world. They go to Mexico, they go to Singapore, they go to England, they go to France, they go, you know, they're trying to get to Africa. They've done shows in Australia, Abu Dhabi. Like, they really do travel around. They really do get around. And I think that Endeavor very much have seen the success of that. And, you know, this is, I think, a change that's come to WWE. So, yeah, look, if you're going to go and do shows in these countries, you're going to have some weird start times. It's not a problem. So we're just with Pete Rosenberg. He's talking about WrestleMania at the moment. Oh, and the Rumble. He's talking about the Rumble. He says it's impossible to guess what's going to happen at the Rumble. I don't think it's impossible. I think CM Punk wins. Pete Rosenberg said, I didn't think CM Punk would come back. I own the loss. I was wrong. But he looks better than ever. Cody. Yeah. Seth and Punk. So he says that he wants it to be Seth and Punk for the championship. It does feel like it's heading that way. Danny said, I think he'll announce some sort of pay-per-view, but I don't know. Okay, now they're talking about Bianca. I think we're about to throw over to them. Oh, yeah, they've got a new reality show coming as well. February it starts. Here they are. Montez and Bianca. They're a very good-looking couple, aren't they? If I'm Triple H, I'm looking at these two thinking, how do I get them right near the top of the card? Bianca said, we just wanted to pull the curtain back a little bit and show everyone who we really are. She said on her Instagram page, that's where you can see a little sneak of the new show. What was it like having cameras on you all the time? I bet they must have spoke to Miz about this. Because obviously we've had Miz and Mrs. So they must have spoke to the Miz about how they dealt with it, you know? Bianca's beaming, man. She is just massive smile on her face. She's loving it. The guy that you see in the ring that's full of joy and everything, that is the guy that I get at home. That's what Bianca says. Look at her face. She's like... Montez is like, you've got to be joyous about every day. And right next to Bianca's like, this is what he's like all the time. Oh, there we go. We definitely reached out to Miz and Maurice. You would, wouldn't you? So used to being Bianca and Montez and being in a ring. We went to them for advice and they were helpful. I don't know where it's getting shown, actually. This is something about 2024 I didn't think about, actually. Was about these two having their own show. I think this is going to be a really good show. The thing with Miz and Mrs., and I hope they don't do it with this, but Miz and Mrs. had a lot of... like seemingly fake moments. You know, it's reality TV, and you know what reality TV is like. It's not reality, it's scripted, and they have these fake moments that they put in, and to make the show as entertaining as possible. I would just love to see these two behind the scenes. Quite a trailblazing show as well, because, I mean, I'm trying to think of another black couple in WWE. I mean, to be honest, we haven't had that many black champions. So, I mean, Bianca stands out for that reason. But I suppose you've got Naomi and Jimmy. Got Naomi and Jimmy. But, this is... we didn't get a show with them. They were part of Total Divas, I suppose. But these two getting their own show, it's a big deal. And I think it'll be really good. Just need to get going with Montez, don't we? Feels like he's being held back. What was your biggest takeaway from this whole thing? He said, okay, he said the biggest takeaway was, as long as you know where you're going, then anything that happens on the journey, just, okay, just accept it. That the end goal is what you should be focused on. It's an alright answer. I heard that Bianca and Montez was going to be on Hulu, said Larry. Oh. Robert said it would be awesome if Big E was returning. Dro said The Miz is underrated. Oh, do you know, I thought about someone earlier that I thought, we don't speak about them. No, enough. I think it was Michelle McCool. I saw a clip of Michelle McCool. It was. When we talk about women and women's wrestling, we talk about Trish, and we talk about Lita, and we talk about China, and we talk about the Bellas, and we talk about AJ Lee, and then we might talk about Alondra Blaze or Wendy Richter or Fabulous Moolah or whatever, right? It is Hulu. You were right. Love and WWE is what it's called. Marriage is the ultimate tag team. Not true. Road Warriors is the ultimate tag team. But, yeah, I saw Michelle McCool and I was like, man, she was definitely ahead of her time as well. We don't talk about her enough. Oh, coming up next, those two superstars are going to be revealed, the next entrants into the Royal Rumble match. Let's go. WWE shop advert. Simon, shout out to you, my friends. You don't need to keep sending in such generous donations, buds. I really appreciate the support, though, dude. Even though I can't quite express that I appreciate it, but I do. That's what I meant. I use voice to write my comments due to me being blind. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, but I would love a WWE Premium Live event in Northern Ireland, especially with the new Casement Park Stadium for Euro 2028. Yeah, I've seen that stadium. It's pretty run down. I don't know what it's called, but it's pretty run down, isn't it? But they are going to spend quite a bit of money on it. Oh, hello. We've got Becky. Is Becky going to be one of them? The outline looked like it was. Yeah. Becky has been added to the Rumble. Oh, and Shinsuke. Becky and Shinsuke. Okay. So Becky and Shinsuke have both announced for the Royal Rumble. So Shinsuke says, I'm going to enter the Rumble and then finish my story. That didn't look... That one definitely looked like an outline of Becky. The other one did not look like an outline of Shinsuke. Megan says, I would argue these are two of the most motivated superstars. Oh, let's go to Kathy Kelly. She's standing by with Cody Rhodes. I was hoping it was going to be Triple H. He says, being around Tampa means so much to the Rhodes family. Obviously, Dusty was in Florida a lot in his career. Bash in Berlin is very special as well, says Cody. I'm looking forward to that. It is true, actually. It's not often they would get a chance to go to Germany. Are you making any New Year's resolutions? Kathy said hers is to eat less cookies in catering. Why have they even got cookies in catering? WWE had its best year ever last year. I think I can guarantee in 2024, WWE will have an even better year. Well, in all fairness, if we're doing Rock versus Roman, I think I can guarantee it as well. Pay-per-view buys for that should be insane. Pay-per-view buys for WrestleMania 40 will be insane. I can guarantee that as well, Cody. Cody, Shinsuke, Monday on Raw. Coming up next, Paul Heyman. Okay, Paul Heyman next. This Rumble thing better not be the only announcement. So, yeah, Simon, shout out to you, buds. Shout out to you. I would say, yeah, let's get the stadium built. I mean, I don't know when they're going to start building it or what the plans are, but when that thing is completed, it's going to be a decent stadium, isn't it? I don't know if it's like 30, 40,000, but it's going to be a decent stadium in Northern Ireland. And I think you would stand a chance of getting some shows there then. I don't know if it'd be WWE. But that, you know, when you've got a stadium like that, you're going to attract concerts, you're going to attract sporting events, you're going to attract boxing, you may attract WWE. They may be tempted to come over and do something, but yeah, I think it's a little way off, isn't it? As you say, they're doing it for Euro 2028, so, I mean, where are we now? 2024? I'd imagine it's probably not going to be done till 26, 27. So probably got a little way to go yet until we get to that one. What was the announcement? Well, we're starting to fear that it's going to be the Money in the Bank thing. That's the fear, that it was the announcement that was made earlier today that Money in the Bank is actually going to be coming from Toronto. So there's been nothing else other than they've shown those tweets, which I gotta say, man, I said earlier, if it is that, it's an L. He's done a Tony Khan and said, oh, I've got an announcement, and then why you would announce it earlier in the day and just ruin this show. Perhaps they just didn't think people were going to be that bothered. But the thing is, if you tell wrestling fans I've got an announcement, you could just announce it at like 2 o'clock in the morning on a little tiny thing on WWE.com and people would tune in. People love mysteries and announcements and all this kind of stuff. It's like catnip to wrestling fans. Just can't get enough. So, yeah, if it is going to be something, if it is going to be an announcement of something he's already announced, there's no way of spinning it. It's a no. It's a no. But we've got 6 minutes left. But saying that, we've only got Paul Heyman left to go. As soon as we're back from this commercial break, we got Paul Heyman, and there's only 6 minutes left in the show. So, Wrestle Andy said, do you know Elimination Chamber starts at 5 a.m.? It's no problem to me. I can make anything work. So, and to be honest, because it's on a Saturday going into a Sunday, I'd imagine it's not going to affect too many other people either. I mean, all right, yeah, you're going to have to stay up or whatever to watch it, or it's going to be at a weird time. But because it's the weekend, and Sunday in particular, school shouldn't be an issue. Monday to Friday jobs shouldn't be an issue. Even if you work in retail, you know, make sure you've got the Sunday booked off. So it shouldn't be an issue. So, yeah, definitely one that people may need to, you know, get their holiday requests in for. So worth knowing for that. But outside of that, who cares? I think watching wrestling at weird times, like in the earlier, I think it's great. I think it's great. You hear all the time of people in America talking about how special it felt to watch ECW at like 1 a.m. And I'm so used to watching wrestling at 1 in the morning anyway. That's when wrestling starts for me. In fact, right now it's 1:55 in the morning. I'm sitting here talking about, I watch wrestling at 1 in the morning. It's nearly 2 in the morning now. It's 5 to 2. So for me now, it's a weird time. So whenever, whatever, however. But for those in America, it'll be maybe a bit unusual. But it's special. It's different. Get excited. Right, tomorrow we've got Io defending her women's championship against Michin. We're here doing the watch-along. We've got Kevin Owens taking on Santos Escobar in the final of the US title tournament to find the #1 contender. We're here doing the watch-along. We got AJ Styles taking on Randy Orton, taking on LA Knight, in a triple threat match. Winner faces Roman at the Royal Rumble. We're here doing the watch-along. And also, Roman Reigns should be in attendance on that show. So, SmackDown, New Year's Revolution, tomorrow, less than 24 hours time. But we are with Kathy Kelly. She's with Paul Heyman. See what the wise man's got to say. Talking about Roman, of course. How does Roman keep this momentum going? Paul says that's actually a very good question. He keeps this momentum like only Roman Reigns can. Your tribal chief. Apparently, Roman is on the elevator of relevancy. When did that become a thing? When did we get an elevator of relevancy? Talking about how Brock hasn't been able to beat him, Cena's not been able to beat him. An escalator of relevancy? Roman Reigns. Is he dead? Why are we looking up at the heavens? That's it. He's just looking up. That's it. He's done. Do you know what? It was probably the shortest of all the interviews, but I got so much from it. If nothing else, the escalator of relevancy was introduced to the lexicon of Roman Reigns. How long we got? Oh, dying seconds. What a way to kick off 2024. New Year's knockout week continues. We're doing the live stream for SmackDown. They're ending now. We've run out of time. Oh, sucks, done it. Sucks. It's an L. Nah, that's it. That's it. So everyone wants to know what the Triple H announcement was. It was the Money in the Bank thing from earlier in the day that was already put onto social media. That was it. That was it. I mean, at least we got a couple of Rumble announcements. I mean, surprise, surprise, Becky Lynch is going to be in the Rumble. Surprise, surprise, Shinsuke is going to be in the Rumble. But we got that from it. The interviews, they were all right. CM Punk's interview was pretty fun. I like the escalator of relevancy as well. We got to talk about some of the things that are coming up. I don't feel like I wasted my time. It was a fun little bonus ball, but yeah, I can't spin it any other way. I can't spin it any other way. That's not good. Do you know what? I will. I don't even know if I should, but I was going to say I'm going to let them off because they are juggling so much, and they've given us CM Punk coming back. They gave us that amazing Rock moment. Obviously, we had New Year's Evil. We've got a big SmackDown coming up. We're well on the way to Royal Rumble. Everything's cooking. You know, we've got cooking pots everywhere, blooming fire alarms going off because Triple H is setting the world on fire. The wrestling world is doing a brilliant job. So if they've fumbled by saying there's going to be an announcement on this show, and then they've, I don't know, accidentally announced it early, I don't know. Did someone press send when they weren't meant to? Was it a case that the plan was they would announce it and then send the tweet out later? Like immediately after it had been announced, and someone just sent it early and botched it. I don't know. I don't know if that's me just, you know, giving them excuses when they don't deserve them. But if you're going to make an announcement on the show and you're going to tell people, tune in, we're going to make an announcement on the show, and then you actually don't because you announced it earlier in the day and that doesn't count. You can't announce it earlier in the day and then say, oh, no, yeah, we announced it on the show. When you announced it earlier in the day on social media, losers. Yeah, no, I'm not going to make excuses for them. It sucks. It sucks. They got your hopes up. They got my hopes up. It sucks. But all the other stuff I said is still true. They are cooking. And they are spinning a lot of plates. And they are doing some great stuff. So I'm going to let them off. Right. What was the announcement? It was... There wasn't one. No, really. It was the Money in the Bank thing. It's going to be in Toronto. And it was announced earlier in the day. Wasting people's time. Don't hype it up that much. And then it's Becky in a Rumble. Triple H must be smoking some. Do you know what? I reckon what's happened is he's gone, if Tony Khan can do it, I can flipping do it. If Tony Khan can say he's got an announcement and then it turns out to be tickets for Wembley are going to go on sale soon, right? And everyone goes, yeah, so of course they are. Of course tickets are going to go on sale. Like, you know, if they can do that and get away with it, I'm going to do it. The thing is, though, Tony got a lot of criticism for it, rightfully so. And do you know what? I could see a lot of AEW fans going, oh, I hope there's going to be criticism of Triple H over this, you know? I hope that WWE fans are going to have the same energy for Triple H that they had for Tony Khan because, you know, where was the announcement, blah, blah, blah. Well, look, let's be crystal. I think it sucks. I think it sucks. I think they've promised you summer and teased summer and then they've not delivered. That sucks. In anyone's book, that sucks. I'd say it about Tony, and I'm going to say it here about Triple H. So, there we go. Consistency. I've said it. And it is what it is, you know. But I'm still loving what WWE are doing right now. Loving what they're doing right now. So excited for the Rumble. Super excited for tomorrow's SmackDown. And, you know, it won't take me long to get over the disappointment of us not actually getting an announcement. In fact, I'm already over it. I'm already over it. Let's go over into the chat. Simon said, safe, the start time for Elimination Chamber in the UK is 11 a.m. That's good. 11 a.m.'s not bad, is it? In the morning. That's good. Lunchtime. You can have your lunch ready. I don't know when we'll be starting on that. I mean, that will be strange for me because that is me. I normally go to bed about 12 lunchtime. So for me, it'll be a bit weird. But we've done those kind of times before. The Saudi shows tend to be around those times. So no drama. At least when Tony said he's got an announcement, he shows up. It might not be a great announcement, but at least he's there. Triple H just no-showed it. Triple L, said Oasis B. Triple L. I like that. Triple H did it once. Tony does it all the time, says Dark Angel. That's true. That's true. I've been watching WWE when I was at school. They started shows at 1 a.m. and I never missed one, said Simon. Dad Stuff said, I hope you're doing well. Can you name one male, one female, one tag team you feel confident will be called up from NXT in 2024? Bron Breakker. Lyra Valkyria. And we just lost the Creeds. So and we just lost Umberto and Angel Garza, haven't we? So I don't think OTM are. I don't think Hank and Tank are. Brooks and Jensen just split up. Don't know about Tony and Stax, but they might be the front runners. Don't know about Gallus. It's pretty slim pickings, to be honest, because we have just lost 2. So I'll go Tony and Stax, but I don't feel brilliant about it because we have just lost the Creeds and we've just lost Angel and Umberto. So I'll go Tony and Stax, but yeah, I think we've just been waiting for Bron to get called up for ages, so they've got to have something planned for him this year. Female-wise, I feel like if we were going to call up Cora, we would have just done it. I feel like Roxanne needs a bit more work. In fact, I would argue she needs a second women's title run. She seems to be suffering a little bit with anxiety, and that apparently was a reason why we took the belt off her last time. I think she gets like anxiety attacks and stuff like this. So I don't know if we're trying to find a way of controlling those, but we need to, because you can't really do anything if like she's going to go to the main roster and then have panic attacks and anxiety attacks and, you know, not show up for shows and like, you know, all this kind of stuff. I mean, if she's getting panicky in NXT, what's she going to be like at WrestleMania? So she's a strange one in the sense of her in-ring is good. I'm not massively sold on her promos, and I'm not massively sold on her character work. She, you know, we've spoke before. I think she's a bit too happy at times when I don't think she should be happy. But I just think she's still got that fan in her of like, I can't believe I'm here. I can't believe I'm doing it. And I really want her to move past that stage. So you look at Roxanne and you look at Cora, and I still think there's work to be done there with both of them. I think that Lyra's having a pretty decent run with the belt, and I could see her dropping it later in the year, maybe getting called up at the end of the year. I don't think we're the first part of the year. I think second part of the year. I think Tiffany showed that she's got limitations. Her live promos are a problem, so she needs to work on those. Blair's not had a run with the belt yet. I think she probably needs one. Gigi and JC are interesting because are they going to get a run with the belt? I would be really tempted to put them back together and send them up as a women's tag team. Really tempted as Toxic Attraction, because I know they did the split and everything, but they just aren't as good as when they were together. They were so much better when they were a tag team, and we need women's tag teams. So I'd put them together and send them up as Toxic Attraction. Thea's obviously only just started. Lola's only just started. Elektra seems a little bit lost, but she might get called up as like, you know, a bit of a valet slash wrestler slash like, you know, Maxine type character. She might go up in that regard. Tatum, she still needs a bit of work. I think Kiana still needs a bit of work. So women's division has got lots of potential, but not tons of women that are like ready. There's not loads of, I'd say there's hardly anyone that's ready to get caught up in the women's division. But lots of potential and women that will get there eventually. So I'll say Lyra on that. But yeah, you could go Bron, you could go Carmelo for the guys. You could go Elia maybe in the second part of the year. I'm sure Baron will go back up as well. I feel like the men have got a lot more that are there or thereabouts. Listen, to be fair, we was told there was going to be an announcement, not that it would be on the show, so technically no one wrong. No, I think they said it would be on the show. Tune in, there will be a Triple H announcement on the show. James said if Sap didn't spoil it in the first place, I don't know if it was Sap. Triple H tweeted it out, didn't he? Didn't it? Or did he tweet it out because Sap spoiled it? I don't know. Triple H definitely tweeted it out on his Twitter account. So, I don't know. I don't know who to blame. Don't know who to blame. I'm already over it. Big Time said, did you watch AEW? I didn't. Apparently, no one showed. Only 801,000 coming off World's End. Samoa Joe's the new champ. Mercedes hype. Jericho allegations. Devil storyline. NXT did 768. Yeah, I mean, I think Samoa Joe might be new champion, but he's not in a feud. So we do need to see who's next, but because he's only just won the title, I don't think anyone's expecting him to lose it yet. So I'm not making excuses for Joe, but he's not got anything going yet. He's not in a feud yet, you know. I can't really pin too much onto him. If anything, people will be a bit like, oh, MJF's gone, you know. Because MJF's not around. It's probably not a good sign for the Adam Cole reveal. And I don't know about the Jericho thing. About whether that would affect ratings. Don't know. If anything, maybe it affects it negatively. Perhaps people are like, forget this. If they were on the fence anyway, and then all this Jericho noise came out, maybe that convinced a few people to be like, nah, I'm done now. I'm done. I tell you, that Devil storyline, it may have been keeping people around. It may have been people who were watching for that. And now that that's done and completed, that's it. People are like, okay, done. And so it's gone to 801, you know? I think they need something to get them the ball going again. They need to get Joe into a good story. They need to get this Adam Cole group into a good story. If they're going to get Mercedes, get her, right? Let's get the ball rolling. I know they got Deonna Purrazzo, but that ain't going to really move a dial. You know, she's coming from Impact. She weren't bringing in loads of people for Impact. So I can't see her bringing loads of people in for Dynamite. Like you need a big name. You need someone that's really been around WWE. So like Mercedes, get her in. The thing is, it's all well and good to spike the rating by bringing in Mercedes. It's what you do with them after, you know. We saw with WCW, you can bring in Hogan in '94 and do a few bits and bobs, but it's not until the NWO get going, like a few years later, that we start to see the ratings move, right? So you can bring these people in all you want, but until you get that creative story that really grabs people's attention, right? And really does. I mean, it needs to be like the Devil times 10. Like, the Devil got people's attention, but not enough where they were tuning in. Because the ratings have still been 850, and now they've dropped to 801, right? So, it may have been bringing in a few people, but not tons. So, you really do need something like the Devil storyline, but something times 10, something even bigger than that. That's got a mystery, that's got people talking, that really does grab like the industry's attention. And I think the Devil was not bad. I don't think the execution was brilliant at times all throughout, but, you know, praise where it's due. I thought that definitely people cared who the devil was. No, there's no denying that. People definitely cared. I did a video about who it turned out to be. Got 40,000 views. That is not because I'm brilliant, right? Far from it. It's because people cared in that story. So I would say what they did with the devil was good. Well done. You've sort of found where the marker is that you need to be aiming for. But you need to hit the bullseye. First of all, you need to hit the dartboard, right? You found roughly where it is, right, with this story, but you haven't even hit the dartboard yet, right? And not only do you need to hit the dartboard, you need to hit the bullseye. So you've got a lot more work to do. So it's all well and good bringing people in, but you've got to have that killer story. So 801, yeah, you know, well, it is what it is. It is what it is. They've just paid off a big storyline, so there's a dip down now, you know. But they need to build their next one now. Who knows? Their average may settle to 801. You know, year on year, we do see declines. Maybe last year their average for Dynamite was 850. This year it's going to be 800. Who knows? It's going to keep going that way until they find that thing that turns it round. It will keep going down unless they can find that storyline that really does grab people's attention. Kevin said, is there any reference of Rock at head of the table? There wasn't. I mean, they spoke to Paul Heyman. They didn't really talk about The Rock. They just spoke about how is Roman going to continue his momentum this year that he has the past few years. That was it. And he spoke about an escalator of relevancy. And about how that escalator is constantly trying to bring you down, but Roman Reigns is going to find a way of staying on top and all this kind of stuff. Brock couldn't do it. Cena couldn't do it. I think that there may be and should be a little reference to the Rock thing. Definitely there should, because it's what the wrestling world is talking about. But I also think that they also have to be focused on whoever wins this triple threat tomorrow, because that's the next in line. It's all well and good looking at The Rock, but you've got to build Rumble. And next for the Rumble is whoever wins this triple threat. We will find out who will face Roman at the Royal Rumble tomorrow. That's pretty big, isn't it? That's pretty big. Will it be LA Knight? Will it be Randy? Or will it be AJ Styles? I think the bookie's favourite is Randy. But we'll find out tomorrow. We'll find out tomorrow. Some people are thinking it might be a screwy finish and we get a fatal four-way, or we get like a triple threat or something along those lines, you know, and we don't get a clean winner tomorrow. But I think there should be a little reference to The Rock, but then like fully focused on the Rumble opponent. Carmen said, I visited South Haven and Portage, Porter County. Very good, my friend. Big Time said, WrestleNomics reported the first quarter did 1 million thanks to the Big Bang Theory. All 7 quarters were under 800,000. Garcia Swerve did 664. The lead kept them over 800,000. Well, that would imply, wouldn't it, then, that there was nothing really to keep people interested during the show. And to be honest, this is going to be a problem with MJF not around, because as much as MJF was not taking the business back to where it had been, he was also ensuring that it remained where it was. And now that he's gone, we may see a very notable decline. Because he's got to be the most engaging person they have. Match-wise, tends to deliver. Promo-wise, definitely delivers. So with him not around, yeah, big problem. Big problem. And they need to fix it quick. So if they do have Mercedes lined up, they might want to pull that trigger sooner rather than later, which is why a lot of people thought she would show up yesterday. Turned out they pulled the trigger on Deonna Purrazzo. It's fine. You've still got Mercedes up your sleeve. I do believe she's going to AEW. But does that mean you pull the trigger for her next week? Or what are we waiting for? Are we waiting? We can't be waiting for the Rumble weekend. We can't be waiting for Revolution. In fact, is there an AEW show in January, like a pay-per-view? They tend to do one a month, but to be honest, it might have been that New Year's whatever it was called. It might have been that for this month. So they can't be waiting for Revolution in February. That's way off. So yeah, sooner than later for her. I think they're going to really need her. CJ said, I thought, Sean, as they never said Triple H is going to be on the show, there wouldn't be an announcement, but was holding out. Kyle said, Daze, do you think WWE will do a show at Croke Park, the 3 Arena? Well, not Croke Park. I mean, Croke Park's been there a long time, and they haven't done a show there. I know they're now starting to go around, but to be honest, UFC, I don't think have done a show at Croke Park, so I feel like Endeavour would go there, but they've not got any history there. So until we actually start, apparently, you can't even get boxing shows there. For whatever reason, Croke Park charges so much. They charge so much that they can't even get Katie Taylor boxing there. You know, Katie Taylor's had to fight, is it the 3 Arena? She's had to fight there twice. And her dream is to fight at Croke Park. But Eddie Hearn said that the amount that they are charging is just astronomical. Like, why they're charging like so much compared to other stadiums around the world, no idea. But Croke Park are seemingly pricing themselves out of big events. So unless they get their finances sorted, they ain't getting anything. So hopefully we get the Katie Taylor, Chantal Cameron 3rd fight at Croke Park. If we do, then maybe they've managed to sort it out. But until they can get their rates down, WWE ain't going to touch them. Genuinely, the announcement, Money in the Bank in Toronto, along with a Raw and a SmackDown alongside it. Yes, that was the announcement, yes. I need them to announce a show in the UK this year, said Walids. RA said, what was the announcement? That Money in the Bank is going to be in Toronto. Wrestlandy said, what's the best ever announcement? I remember the first draft in 2002. The best announcement's got to be when Shane popped up on WCW to announce that the contract does say McMahon, but it says Shane McMahon. That's right. I am the new owner of WCW. That's got to be the best. Big Time said 2 weeks ago it was at 782. The bottom is dropping out. If there's no hold up, it's only down. To think Tony hammered Triple H on Wednesday Night Wars. Well, my take on that is you can be doom and gloom about it, but you know, there will be ups and downs, and 1 week where they've gone down to 800,000. You know, fine. I wouldn't, if I was Tony, I wouldn't worry about it until there's a pattern, because we've seen weeks that can be a bit up and down. So we know that we're coming off a pay-per-view that didn't really start new conversations. I suppose it started one in regards to the Adam Cole group, but I would say that what it ended was a lot bigger. It ended the mystery of who is the devil. That ending was huge. What came out of it, not as big. So I think that with the fact that the devil thing's finished and the fans know that MJF is off TV now, so you're taking away one of their favorite things. Yeah, I would have thought that it probably would have held. The fact it's come out at 8:01, if I'm Tony, definitely says, right, we need to do something. We need to do something. We've got to, this is where we don't need this to be a pattern. But really, outside of that, I wouldn't be doom and gloom about it. I wouldn't be doom and gloom about it. I mean, every week's a fight. Every week's a fight. Everyone's fighting for ratings. I think that they've just done a good story with the devil thing. And now, what you got? You've always got to come up with more. But we know they've got Mercedes around the corner. So let's see how they deal with the Mercedes thing. Do they tease her? Is she next week? Is she in a couple of weeks? Do they just drop her out of nowhere? How do they build to her first promo? How do they build to her first match? Like, if I'm Tony Khan, I'm definitely looking at that. I'm not worried too much about this week's rating. I'm thinking, what have I got coming up? And that Mercedes thing could be big, man. Could be big. Plus, I think they've got some of them released WWE stars. They must have got at least one of them. Like Mustafa Ali or whatever. We saw Dolph turn up in New Japan, which could mean that he's an AEW star, because we know that there's a relationship there, because Moxley worked Wrestle Kingdom earlier. So, it could be that Dolph is actually an AEW star and is just going to do a few bits with New Japan. So, again, if I'm Tony, I ain't worried about this week. I'm not bothered about it. I'm much more big picture, and I'm looking at what have I got coming up. Well, I might have Dolph, I might have Mercedes, I might have Mustafa Ali. I've got Sting's retirement in February. I can really do something with that. I can really do something with Sting's retirement. So, this week being 800,000, fine, whatever. I just need to find a way of making sure that it doesn't drop any further. If I can hold it to 800 and something for next week, cool. And then, pretty soon I know that I'm building to Sting's retirement. I'm building to Revolution. I've got Dolph. I've got Mustafa Ali. I've got Mercedes. I've got things that hopefully are going to pick that back up again. So that's why I wouldn't be too worried if I was Tony about this week's number. But the channel had a nice boost. WrestleMania season, a thing. I've noticed more people joining streams. No, I think that's a Christmas thing. I think a lot of people are off work and off... a lot of people are off school, off work. They'll go back soon. I'd expect the streams to go back to where they were. So, yeah, I think that, we've been doing this a long time. There's a lot of people that have been watching us, that used to watch us, that now have jobs, have school, and all this kind of stuff. And so they can't join us anymore. And so it's a case that they are off, doing other stuff. But when Christmas comes and they've got like a holiday or whatever it might be, it's great to see some of them names rejoining us. There's been loads of people that are like, oh, how you doing? I haven't been on here for months, but it's so good to see you. And I think, definitely there'll be some new people that have found us as well, Everyone is welcome. Welcome. And it's brilliant. It's fantastic, and certainly at a time where I'm not well, because, I can't really do much, to be honest. Can't really capitalize on it other than just do the streams we normally do. So to see, so many people around is really appreciated. And I'm going to shake this as we build to the Rumble. And it's going to be good. We're going to have a big year on the channel. But I would expect these numbers to go back where they were once everyone's back to work and back to school. So, Again, to be honest, I don't worry about that side of it either. Because it's just a case of, we've been doing this for years now. And so, people know we're here. And we do what we do, and we have good conversations, and we react to the shows, and we've built up a good community, and, there's only so much I think that you can do, and so what will be, will be. I don't worry about that. But it has been lovely to see a little increase during Christmas, but as I said, I expect it to go back down, and that's more than fine, because I think I understand why we got the increase in the first place. So, right, I'm gonna go because my friend is streaming TNA, and I don't want to. I've already stepped over his toes more than I said I would. Plus, I want to rest this. That's 2.5 hours of talking, which is about 2.5 hours more than I've done in the past 48 hours. So a big thank you to everyone that joined us. Disappointing, I know, that we didn't get some big, juicy, major announcements. It is what it is. You know, Becky and Shinsuke have been added to the Royal Rumble. Fine, you know, it is what it is. And there were some fun little interviews in there and a fun little bonus stream. But we will be back tomorrow for SmackDown. And as I said, even if it's like this, even if it's worse, I'm going to be here, okay? We are doing it. In fact, I'll set the stream up as soon as I end this one. So thank you so much for joining us. Have a great evening wherever you are. Appreciate the support as always.